Game on.
Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 33-year-old from Herning, Denmark. His entire hockey career, he ran amok of Denmark and became a legend of the sport and the shed after his first appearance, episode 56, got us ranked #1 in Denmark for the very first time, folks. But that isn't the first time we won together. Back in 2013, we beat his hometown and shed favorite, the Blue Foxes of Herning, in Game 7 to claim our gold buckets. He was raised right from a puppy in the hockey factory that is Herning, Denmark, making Team Denmark under 20s and twice in under 20s, claiming 2 silver medals. Perhaps those 2 silver medals are what inspired him to pretty well never lose again, winning it all 5 years in a row. So he has enough gold helmets to put out 3 forwards and 2 defensemen at once, folks. And he mixed in 2 Pokal championships for fun and laced up for Team Denmark, the men's squad, a couple times. And he is a confirmed gamer. Welcome back to the shed, Anders Overmark Larsen.
Thank you, Wally. Thank you for the introduction.
Yes, I get it now. We know each other. Jeez, episode 56 was a long time ago, eh?
Yeah, what is that? Like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I
it's
think it was
crazy.
under lockdown.
What I found interesting about that is there's still a ton of guys I've never had on, and there's still tons of guys I want to have on. And when I'm actually trying my hardest to see all my friends, it's still been 2 years since I talked to you.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Right? And it's like all these hockey
Yeah.
guys, you don't have time to talk to your friends anymore.
No,
You
and
know?
especially when you've been well traveled as yourself.
Yeah. That's because everybody kept asking me to kindly leave.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah.
But yeah, so episode 56, I didn't check out how many people have listened, but I do recall being #1 in Denmark for the very first time. And I tell you, when like it's weird winning doing this shit because you don't get like we did it together, but then I don't get to like see you and smash beers with you and like celebrate, you know?
No, that's actually the best thing of winning as a team is the parties afterwards.
Isn't it? It's so fun. I got a bad track record though, you know. I was pretty well behaved in Denmark for winning, you know.
Yeah, that was actually I don't even recall anybody being who didn't behave actually.
Right. Cause like when I had Dan Seaman on the first time, way back in episode 15, he was telling a story about there was one year they were smashing beer bottles over each other's gold helmets. But he just won again, eh?
Yeah, he's building a
He's a
very
winner, isn't he?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you won twice. So that's how we know each other. Was his first year of being a head coach. Me and Corky were like his first ever signings as a head coach. And then we ended up winning it that year. And it's weird for me because I had a guy on that became the Cardiff Devils coach this year. It was his first year. And they didn't win a trophy. And he was asked to kindly leave. And it was like that. If that's your first year of coaching, it's hard to get some traction. And like Dan, we win the gold helmets, right? And then he won it the next year too.
Yeah,
Punks.
exactly. But yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Showing you hockey it's not pro hockey, right? If you don't win,
It's so competitive, man.
yeah, it really is. And that was a fun year. And you know what's weird for me is starting this and getting things off my chest. And like when I left Sunderjyski and they didn't ask me back after the season I had and we won, and I was asked to kindly leave, and I had like a toddler and one on the way, and I was like, geez, what was I supposed to do this year? I literally had never looked at really pictures. I'd never looked at any videos of us winning because I was too pissed off. Finally over it, guys.
It is kind of like a strange move that being one of the top scorers in the league and doing well even in the postseason
And then winning it.
and then winning and then
And then you go in for your meeting and like, it wasn't even like, we don't have the money, we'll offer you this, or we'll give you half the money. It was like, we're not having you.
yeah.
Smell you later. That was it. It's every meeting you have is different after the season, right? And after the season I had, I did not think it would go that way. And I remember walking out to the parking lot going, holy moly, life just smacked me in the face.
Jesus, but it is like everywhere you've been, is it like you have kind of like a where you summarize the season and have a final talk after the season? Because
Usually,
for me,
yeah, usually.
yeah, me personally, I've always been that I wanted to have my contract done before the season is over, so I know what's going on next year.
Yeah.
If nothing happens, then
Then you
I
know.
just I decide to move. Like
So, but how early in the season are you talking? Like, I wouldn't want to be dealing with that during playoffs, but like
no,
how
but
I figure how I play in playoffs makes a big deal of whether or not you want me back.
most definitely. But no, for me, it's I guess it's just played out that way. But it was normally around Christmas time.
Yeah, that's when you're wanted.
Uh,
I had that when like my best years is like around Christmas was when teams start sniffing around, right? For
yeah,
the next
exactly.
year. Yeah. And then there's the years where it's middle of summer and you got nothing and you're like, holy shit.
Stressful.
But I guess when you win 5 years in a row, you probably didn't have that problem. uh, you know?
Kind of like it's not if you go on elite prospect and look up my stats. It's not like did 30 goals a year.
No,
So
you didn't like you
I'm
there
really
there was
fortunate to
very
say
few
it's a
years
team
you got
game.
10, you hardly got double digit points any year, right? You hardly got 10 points. And what's crazy to me is I think there's winners and I think there's losers, and you're a winner. And what's interesting for me is one of your poster pics where you got like the tassels on like the
Yeah,
wig thing, and then you're bleeding out of your mouth, and like um my buddy Deese, who is a winner and knows what it's about, he writes to me and says, I don't know who that guy is, but he would be my friend.
yeah.
Yeah. You're a gamer. You know how to give her. And what was funny is now that I can finally look at videos of us winning, there's that one video that's like 8 or 9 minutes long on YouTube that shows us coming off the bench and all that shit. But anyways,
That's
that,
I've been watching that one a lot of times though.
that's a cool video that's out there. Thanks for putting that together, whoever did, right?
Yeah,
What was I talking about though? I don't remember.
neither do I. Like,
Yeah. That video, I don't know. The gold
yeah.
tassels, yeah, lost me. Um, but Herning did just lose, eh? That
Oh,
sucks.
yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, they had a really good.
That's how we ended up reconnecting again, right? Was
Oh yeah, because you had
I saw
Nancy
Dan
and Mac on.
Seaman. Yeah. I saw
Yeah,
Dan Seaman. He's gonna come back on. And then also because he won again, right? And then I put up the picture of us, and it brings back memories. And then we got chatting again, and then you brought up like you loved the episodes with our Herning boys, right? Mac
oh
and
yeah,
Tansy.
oh yeah.
Mhm.
Most definitely.
Mac's a bit of a celebrity around there, isn't he?
Definitely. Actually, it's kind of funny as I heard. I can't remember. It was the first time he was on the shed or the second time where you were talking about throwing candy on the ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is something really the crowd in Herning really picked up very fast.
Mhm.
I think he mentioned also like one game they gave away 1,000 Twix bars,
Yeah.
and that was like, but yeah,
Isn't that cool though that started from talking in my shed in Kincardine, Ontario?
that's so awesome, man.
I think it's
That,
so awesome. It's that video, man, when he was going for 5 shutouts in a row right at the start of the season. You know how like winning is what makes things happen. Winning is like him going for 5 shutouts in a row. It's how that Twix thing got totally carried away. Because right, if you guys have a tough start to the season, maybe it doesn't go that way, right? There's a lot of chocolate.
oh yeah, and even like I know even the club tried to to get a sponsorship somehow from Twix, but it was like,
Right.
sorry, no.
Well, Mac's a gamer, and he would have been competing right till the final buzzer. You know what? His competitiveness reminds me of you.
Oh, is that bad?
Well, from what I hear, he's pretty competitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess even more a goalie has to be kind of. He's a lot of times hanged out to dry by his teammates.
Well, that happens to goalies, especially,
Yeah.
that's part of the game.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't happen as often, but yeah, you're supposed to not to let that happen. But he sure looks like a goalie in the pictures, man. It's like I can tell who can play in the pictures I get sent, and I can tell who can goalie. He can goalie.
He can definitely goalie, and I guess that's also why the team decided to re-sign him
Yeah.
pretty early on.
Yeah, that was like probably pre-Christmas, like we're talking about. When you're running amok, teams start getting busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But no, the Twix thing is really cool. And for all you Herning folks that listen to your hometown hero here, thanks for doing that. It really warms my heart. You know,
Oh yeah,
fun is fun.
fun
Go
is very fun.
go Blue Foxes of Herning. You know how my tune has changed. I was a Sunderjyski fan until they didn't ask me back, right? And then Mac goes to Herning, and then you guys support the Twix, and next thing I know, I'm a Blue Fox of Herning fan, right?
Glad to hear, Wally. Glad to hear.
So even though you went to the Baby Blues for a few years and won some gold helmets, you're still a Blue Fox at heart, eh?
It's actually, yeah. I guess I am. It took. I would say when I laced it up, or even when I retired, the first 2 years after that, I would say I would still be baby blue.
Yeah.
In moving back home and just go to watch the games because you can kind of stay away, or at least I can't. It kind of won me over again. All of those childhood memories came back, and then
Yeah.
home.
You know what's weird for me to relate to that was I was always a diehard Leafs fan. And then after college, they like actually called me and told me to come for an interview and a fitness test. And then they were going to sign me instead of going to Syracuse. And everything went great. And then they just kept saying they needed more time, needed more time, needed more time. And then I had to take the deadline of the other deal. So it didn't happen. And I hated the Leafs for so long. But now, like, they trade for Ryan O'Reilly, who I've skated with, and he's, my kids have got pictures with him. And now he's running amok and like changing their team. And now I'm a huge Leafs fan again. But like, I realize that when it comes down to crunch time, I guess I am still a Leafs fan, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of funny how it works, actually.
So why did you end up leave Herning to go to the Baby Blues originally? Because you had just won back-to-back gold helmets.
Kind of like back in the days in Herning. Herning is in some terms a young city which is built on hard work, and the coach really took that to heart. So he was really old school, hardworking. No, I would say people management, nothing. So at the end, I would say we kind of.
It was time.
It was time. We didn't see eye to eye and stuff like that.
Is that Bjorkstrand?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Because I do recall what I would say about that is I had heard similar stories, and I did see how they could move imports in and out of their teams. But one thing I would say is their imports played just as hard as everyone else, and they all played the same game. There was nobody making drop passes. Everything was forward. Everything was full speed, and there was no like, I think he took away some players' probably creativity, but they all played the same way, which is kind of like how his son plays in the NHL. And that's how he coached, right? They just gave her tits the whole game.
Exactly. And it would be kind of like when talking with guys who played from other teams, they know if Herning is coming to the ring or if we're going to Herning, if we by second period is behind with 1 or 2 goals, it's game over.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember like to think of us beating them in the best of 7. Like that was a very hard series to do. And I remember at the start of the year, we played them in a preseason game, and the other Wally was telling me, he's like, this will be our biggest competition. This team will be the hardest team to beat. And we went out to the exhibition game and just destroyed them. And I was like, that's our big competition. We're going to own this league. And Quirky and I were doing well, and our team was running amok. And then every time we played them, they got better and better. And then we play them in the Pokal final, and they beat the wheels off of us, didn't they? Like 5-0?
5-0, yeah. At home in Vojens.
In Vojens, in front of our crowd after we had already pissed it down our leg in the Continental Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, tough one that weekend.
That was yeah.
I remember the speech before we went into the finals, and it was Soren, right? May he rest in peace. He was a dandy, but he came in and said, like, this season, like, we've been good, but you guys have failed every time. It's been time to put your balls on the table. Like, we failed, and it was true and then we went down 2-0 in the finals, didn't we? We did.
Yeah, we did. We did. Mensak telling guys that this will be over in 4.
Yeah, because they had dusted us.
The
They had dusted us in the Pokal final. Then they win the first 2 games, and like it's like we can't beat them. And then all of a sudden we won 3 in a row, right?
Yeah, exactly. We really came together. Yeah, really. That one was my. What would that be? That would be my 3rd championship in.
It was your second one in Sunderski, because the first year you played for the other coach, right?
Yeah.
Mario.
Yeah, but I had those 3 championships in a row where the finals went to Game 7.
Really?
And actually, being quite honest, the one against Herning was by far the toughest one.
Oh, so
like
one guy, you know, I say that there's guys that are winners and guys that are gamers. That team had them, and it would be from growing up in a system like that with like that guy coaching them, right? Because that Larsen, he was a gamer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But even like, I would even say all the Danish guys on that team more or less would be gamers, like not giving an inch, blocking every shot they could, didn't shy away for anything.
That best of 7 was exhausting.
Oh yeah.
I liked how Game 7 went, right? Because we got up 4-0, and then it was like, okay. Then they got 2 in the third, and then we started puckering up a little bit, but we figured it out.
Yeah, we did some damage control at the end.
Yeah, but isn't it fun wearing gold helmets out on the town? Gosh,
that is. I would say that
it's got to be one of the coolest things in hockey that Denmark gives out gold helmets.
Yeah. Don't they do that everywhere in Europe, or is it just?
I know they do. The leading scorer has to wear a gold helmet. You don't get it for a team for winning. Like, you get a medal, or right? Like, you don't get a gold helmet that you get to wear for the rest of your life. Where are you?
Yes, it's pretty unique then. But yeah, that's how to get it. You'll definitely have attention when going out that night.
You don't have to pay for many drinks, and it can get away from you. But you have a helmet on, so you can't really get hurt.
No, exactly.
Oh gosh. Yeah. That a couple fun nights, those gold helmets. One of my favorite stories was I was out late. Late.
Nice.
Yeah. And I got home. It was, I guess you could say early in the morning. And Colby and our dog Beckham, they needed to get out of the house. So I took them for a walk with my gold helmet on. I had the stroller and the dog, and I walked around Vojens with my gold helmet on at like 7 in the morning.
I would have loved to seen that. That could have been a very, very good picture.
Well, I got a good picture. It was just right after that walk. I made some nachos before I went to bed.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Oh, good times. I remember we went to see the mayor the next day, all in our gold helmets. You remember that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I was I had the walleye going at that point.
Everyone
so tired by then, right?
Oh.
By the end of the second night, winning is so exhausting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially just been through a Game 7 like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And then go on a 2-day bender.
Yeah. Just right from the game. You just don't stop.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so different, the winning and losing, because I lost the first couple of years, right, in pro hockey. I lost in the finals. One of them was in overtime in Germany, was best of 5, Game 5, overtime, and they score, and like you see all the guys crying, and like you just lost the finals 2 years in a row. I lost the coast too. When you finally win, shit can get away from you.
Yeah. For sure.
What was the best gold helmet party you had? Probably your first one, maybe? No.
No,
Do
because
you
the
guys do
first
you guys don't do parades, right?
no, we don't. But first one, I was I was home before midnight. I remember
Why?
some guys put me in. I was just
Totaled.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, actually, I would say the best one would actually be the one my second year in Vojens where we beat Herning. To
Yeah.
be honest,
We
also
went to
because
that we went
the
to that
group of
bar in
guys,
Haderslav, right? Like the whole team, right?
yeah, like your
Yeah.
bar is a nightclub. Yeah,
What was it called?
it's a nightclub. Crazy Daisy.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It was hilarious when you go out and you're like, so where are the fellas? And you just look around and you see all the gold helmets. It's fun is fun.
Oh, that is fun. That is
Yeah.
fun. It was with a really good group of guys. Guys, I have never been in a team where the chemistry
Yeah.
and kind of through down the lines have been so good from
And you
more or
need
less.
everybody to win, right? Like you need every line going. And I thought bringing in Aslan mid-season really balanced out our top two lines. And then Corky and I stopped playing together. And then I was with the other Wally and Spelling. And like when you had Wally playing the D he played, and then you had me and Spelling cheating and scoring, it was pretty good too.
Yeah, true. But also a ballsy move though, because as I remember, you and Quirky was really tearing up the league.
Yeah, we finished second in league scoring. Way to go, Alex Levitt, you loser. Everywhere I went, that guy led the league in scoring. Such a joke.
But he was done in 4 games in the semis though. So
That's right. Him and Casper Dine. You know
yeah,
him, right? He's from Herning, Denmark.
yeah.
He's a Deutsche Meister with me.
Oh, that's true at Bietigheim, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all the parties you get to have after winning. I'll never forget that night because it's like we just worked all together as a team all year. We won the championship, and he literally left when the bus got back from Munich to Bietigheim. The equipment manager drove him to the World Championships for Denmark.
Yeah.
And he left and didn't even party with us. That sucks.
That sucks. Yeah, most definitely.
He didn't even see my cut off jeans the next day.
Oh Jesus.
But he's a bit of a Herning legend, eh?
Oh yeah. Like even his dad was a former player in Herning back in the Herning heydays where
Right.
Herning won 2 in a row and then had 1 year break, won another year's break and then 2 in a row. It continued like that for I would say 12, 15 years in Herning back then. And then yeah, his half brother is Peter Regan, the guy who played in the show.
Yeah, for Ottawa. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's his
exactly.
half brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I met his other brother, Lassie, too. We
Yeah.
went out in Stuttgart to the beer tents. We had a time.
Really. He
Yeah.
was both those two guys was really, really good skill players
Yeah.
back.
Well, yeah, when we played Aalborg in that series in the playoffs, like when him and Levitt were on a power play together, it was dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember what we were talking about though. We were talking about the Twix. And
Oh yeah.
one thing I wanted to mention about Herning, and I saw the video of the 1,000 Twix game, and that was just the coolest thing ever. But their win song, I thought that played on the speakers while they were throwing all the Twix on the ice. That song was wicked awesome for a winning song.
I can't even recall.
It sounded almost like some kind of like a Viking song, It was like just I'm not gonna pretend to do it. I was getting all pumped up that they had won.
But yeah, I actually don't recall. I That's the thing with me. I only remember the last game, more or less.
Yeah, I hear you. You're a gamer. You're always looking for the next one. It's the same with me with Hit the Shed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on from you after this, Durst.
Oh yeah.
But next guy is also, Dan Seaman, who has a lot of gold helmets too. Spelling, I saw he's got 6 now, so he has more than you. Did you have the most?
No. There are like some of the old Herning guys have 9, 10.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Herning's quite the hockey factory, isn't it?
Oh, It's
So it's hot. So it's been a hockey town, and then the hockey guys from there are breeding and making more hockey guys, and then those hockey guys are breeding again and making more hockey guys.
yeah, more or less that's kind of how it works. The most well-known guys are, of course, Dan Jensen, the assistant coach. His oldest son, Nicholas Jensen, plays in the Swiss league right now, but have had a few games in the NHL. A
Yeah.
first rounder for Canucks. And then, of course, as you mentioned in the beginning, the coach, Tord Bjorkstrand, uh, where the youngest one are playing.
The
Where's
one's
the
in
others gone now? He's
Seattle.
in Seattle. Yeah,
The
exactly.
other one just won in Aalborg. And like you talk about who are winners. Those
And scored
kids
the
were
game-winning
born
goal.
to be winners, eh? Those guys, like, man, those guys play hockey the right way. They play like winners.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and
I've never
it's
even seen the one that just won for Aalborg play, but I could just picture it.
he's pretty skilled. He's pretty good, yeah. And so, of course, he scored the game-winning goal in Herning Game 6, right?
Mm. Yeah, that sucks.
Um, but yeah,
Mhm.
it's
It's a good
both of
win.
the
Wherever we're going, it's a good win song. Keep playing it. I want to see lots of Twix next season. Max back, right? And you know what? Sometimes it takes a team to lose like that for the next year to figure it out, right?
it definitely, most definitely, and it's Herning haven't won anything or haven't won a championship in I think 11 years now,
Really?
which is the longest period they have gone
Ever.
without
Yeah.
winning anything. Yeah. So I think it's a great lesson for most of the guys who's coming back next year.
Well, and now they're right there, right? And you got the goaltending.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I saw Mac like literally played like every game. Um, if they plan on like having him be ready to go through the 3 rounds, that is exhausting for anybody. It's kind of like what Sunderyuski would do with Alfie, right? Like they let lily pads play against the lower teams all through the season to give him a break, so he was ready for. But like, not to say Mac wasn't ready, but I'm saying if he's going to be there for say a handful of years, you don't want him to run out of gas after 3 years.
But that's kind of like the C's who are within the walls in Herning. Like the backup goalies have never been getting any playing time in Herning. Even Freddie Anderson playing in North Carolina this year didn't even get any playing time, so he had to move to get some playing times.
Freddie Anderson had to leave Herning to get playing time because they would add an import in there or what?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's kind of like the same in Great Britain, right? Where my honey hole is with the Shed is like their goalies that come up. It's like, how do they get their opportunity? Like, how do they get it to be a starter? Because every team wants to win that year, right?
Yeah. That's true. And I think actually from a a goalie's perspective, a Dane in net's perspective, I think it was pretty decent. That it was good for them that the other team had a Dane in net.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that one goalie, I guess it was the guy that just won the finals. That both goalies I knew, right? Lily pads, Thomas Lily, who was our backup for Alfie,
Yep.
and then the guy that started all the games was the little guy from Herning, George Sorensen, right?
Exactly.
He was a goalie.
Another guy who had to move to get playing time.
He was behind that Pizarre guy that was good too. But like I do remember a couple times the other guy got pulled and George went in, and man, he was a little guy, but man, he looked big when you shot on him.
Yeah, that's true. He's another like for a goalie, he's very small. So I guess to
I'm
be
just starting to
starting
realize
net,
how good Danish goalies are because they had that other goalie that was good in Copenhagen. What was that goalie? Dom? He was good
oh
too.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Sebastian Dam.
And Freddie Anderson. Well, there's goalies there too. Eh? You guys are good.
They have had some decent goalies here. What's the guy in Ottawa? Mass Sigard.
I haven't been paying attention much to the NHL. I don't know who that is. There's too many hockey leagues in the world for me to pay attention to all of them. You know?
Yeah. But I mean, this is a show.
Yeah. You know what's cool for me is from the coach and I've been doing is I got a nice time guy now, a guy that's gonna help me out, and he's given me an hour and a half of ice. and I'm getting the band back together. The team I coached 2 years ago, I invited all the kids for a fun scrimmage. Like it's the end of the season or wherever they've played, and we're gonna go out and have a fun scrimmage. And I'm gonna go out and skate and get ready for my big game in Cardiff, Wales, May 27th. You know,
That's gonna be so fun though. That's gonna be a blast.
Cardiff, yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
wild. By the way, folks, I'm having a raffle at aleshockeytales.com, and it's my Josh Batch testimonial jersey, 18 Walton on the back with a 2 Ales and Hockey Tales logo. Get involved. Still pay for everybody's flight over there, and it is quite the roster he is bringing. He is bringing back a lot of guys that need planes to get there. So buy your raffle tickets, folks. We're coming to run amok. You know? How cool is that though? The UK does that. A guy plays on a team for 10 years and then they put this testimonial game on, and then he gets to have back whoever he wants. And the money all goes to him. It's wild.
To him?
Yeah, he gets the money of all the tickets sold and all the jerseys raffled. And the jersey raffle I'm having, I'm sending him the money to pay for our flights. And everything goes to him. So if we sell this bitch out, that all goes to him.
Wow.
Right? That's cool. It's like a thank you to the player for being awesome.
That's actually a good way to do it. Like, even in Denmark, we are so bad at celebrating the legends that have been playing around in the different.
And it's important, and it means a lot to the guys that leave the game. And to get like, that's actually how this all started. Was I was asked to come back to Cardiff for a night, and I realized how much I missed the hockey guy. And like, it means so much to a person to I guess feel appreciated, you know?
Yeah, appreciate it and get that recognition as well for all your hard work.
Yeah, and it's like cool. The Shed guys have got their jerseys retired. I couldn't even imagine that, right? Like that their jerseys up in the rafters forever. Herning's got to be a tough place to get your jersey up with all the players they're pushing out, eh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. Three jerseys retired in Herning. That's more or less it.
I wonder what they had to do to get up there. That must have been early on.
One of them play almost 1,000 games in the NHL.
So is it about his is that about his hockey career? Or is it about his team on the Herning Blue Foxes?
No, because he was 15 when he played in Herning. It's Frans Nielsen. I think it's more like he's from Herning. He's always been kind of loyal to the top club, coming home every summer, coaching the kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then, yeah, of course, Coach Bjorkstrand won so many times as a player and a coach.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't in Denmark when you were there, but Daniel Nielsen, the guy who played the most games in the Danish league.
Okay.
Even though having, 5 years, 3 years in the DL Hamburg Freezers, and then 2 years in Leksand.
Oh yeah, he's a player there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Herning, it's wild how many hockey players are coming out of there, and it is a hockey town. And yeah, I'm a big fan. I loved seeing the atmosphere. I love seeing fans having fun at the rink, the Twix getting thrown on the ice. And then when Mac would, after a win, would go and jump into the glass, I saw some pictures of like the fans' faces around him. And it just made me smile that it was so hockey. Everybody was having fun at the hockey arena. The fans that had paid money to come were smiling and having fun. Mac was having a time because they had just won, and it was just so hockey, you know?
That's what it is all about.
Right? It's not just about playing the game. You got to have a bit of entertainment too, right? You knew about that.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of like, that's the product that you have is kind of like, as an individual, your own brand, but as a team, you're at the end of the day a commercial product that pay money to go see.
And when I talk about how you were a gamer, one of the videos I've watched just in the last week when I started thinking about Denmark again, because I saw a Seaman one, was it's a video of us shaking hands after we play Herning one game. And you and Mitch Ganzak get into it during the handshake line. And I was just laughing because when the research team gets hot, I'm like, they had just won the championship together.
Yeah. I remember that. And it was actually another gamer, Larsen, who actually started the entire thing. But
Just a bunch of gamers competing.
yeah. But as you mentioned, I won within the 2 years prior to that, but we hugged it out after the game. So
Did you? Sometimes things can get carried away on the ice, right?
yeah, especially if you were hot-headed like I was.
And he was a bit like that too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I didn't really like playing against him that much. He was pretty good.
he was pretty good, and yeah, he was definitely annoying to play against. Running his mouth.
Um, Interesting that. Well, I guess so. Herning did win the Pokal this year, right? So they did win a championship this year.
Yeah, that's like I have a kind of like weird take on that Pokal thing.
Go. Let me hear it.
Well, my take is that it's a Pokal just for a GM or CEO to save his job, kind of say you had some sort of success during the season. Because if you ask anybody, they can't remember who won the Pokal 2 years ago, but everyone remembers who ended up being the champion.
Well, I don't know about that because there's 2 trophies they can win that year. You try and win both of them. You do your best to win both because winning's fun. And it's a trophy that you're competing against another team. And it's like, well, we just beat you. Haha.
Yeah, I know. But at least for me,
well, it's obviously way harder to win the
back
real
when
deal.
we played, it was like I didn't even care about the games before. Obviously, when you're in the finals, you're there to win.
And I remember that too. I was the same. And I'm just saying,
Like,
once you get what you try and win every game, but then once you get to the finals of that, it's go time. It was the same in Germany, man. You'd play third league teams, and it's like, so if we win this game and to win it all, we're gonna have to play like 8 more games. But if we just lost this, then we don't have to play 8 more games, right? It's like we could be fresh for everything else we got to do.
Exactly. Exactly. That's kind of like been top of mind. That's also why.
Who did they beat in the Pokal final? Was it the same team?
Over.
It was so it's the exact same as the way it played out with us that year.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh. It's weird how, yeah. And you know what's weird is when I was in
Overmark as well.
When I was in Cardiff, we win the Challenge Cup, which is not the big one there, but we beat Sheffield. And then when it came to winning the regular season, which is the big one, we lost by 2 points and lost the big game where they won the trophy in front of us. And so 3 seasons it's happened the exact same way. The one team wins the middle of the season and the other team wins the end. Weird, isn't it?
That is definitely weird.
It's almost like when you lose, you learn how to beat them, or you're a little bit more motivated than the team that won.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's kind of like a cliche, but I guess every team, every coach, when they lose something, when they lose a final, they always tells the guys to remember how it sucks losing and don't do it again.
It's like the exact opposite of winning.
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh, losing's the worst. You know what else pissed me off when the research team got hot about Vojens? So when we win it, and we obviously didn't do well in the Continental Cup, but that very next season when they didn't ask me back, you guys played in the Champions Hockey League. Well, go fuck yourselves then. So that happened the next season. So I could have played in the Champions League if they would have just asked me back, and I would have earned it because I had been on the team that made it there, eh? Instead of these punks that probably came in and didn't even earn their way to the Champions League. A little bunch of losers.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a very cool experience, though.
I'm sure it was. I'm happy you guys got to do that.
For the small leagues, that's definitely something.
Yeah.
Also for the young kids playing in the small leagues that have a dream of going to a bigger league.
Yeah.
It's a very good test.
Well, it's a test, but you also get to flaunt your shit at them and show them what type of player you are, right? Because if you go out there and score 2 or 3 goals, they're like, well, who's this guy?
Yeah, exactly. And some of the small league teams always do well in the Champions League as well.
Yeah, it's weird that so right after I left Cardiff, they went to the Champions League and got to be in video games. And right after I left Sunderski, you guys went to the Champions League and did you get to be in a video game?
I'm actually not quite sure.
I don't know if Champions League was in the NHL games back then, but it definitely was when Cardiff got to do it. And one of my goals in my career was to be in a video game. Never worked out.
Just do a screenshot and then put like put it on a T-shirt. Feature from EA Sport with your name, with your face.
Right? I just wanted to be in one video game. But you know what's cool is my son has made our line on his NHL game. He's center, and then my daughter's the left winger, and I'm the right winger. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, poster picks, okay?
Yeah.
Playing for Team Denmark in the men's division for the first time. That must have been special, eh?
Most definitely. It was I guess it's every hockey player's or even every athlete's biggest dream is to represent
Play
your
for their
country
country.
somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
How did you find out you made it the first time? Did you have to go to a tryout, or did they just pick it?
No. They just picked the team, and then the GM put a call into me and asked if I could get off school to go with the national team for Belarus. I think it was the first time.
You played Belarus your first game, eh? And you had to get off school to go do that. That's pretty cool.
The teachers would, well, that wasn't actually the hardest.
But it's also a good lesson for a lot of kids out there, as we already talked about it. You won 5 gold helmets. You got to play for your country, and you never really put up more than 10 points a year, right? You don't have to be a goal scorer to be a winner and go places in hockey, right?
I will actually say I think that one season I have 1 goal and 9 assists, and 8 of those points I made within the first 10 games of the season.
And that's a hot start.
And this one I remember. The coach that told me that you have to focus more on the defensive part of the game is the one you are having on next time.
Really? Well,
I was more or less told
but
that.
Then you did a lot. You did a lot of like playing against the other team's scorers and pissing them off, right?
That was actually, I would actually say I would enjoy that even more than scoring a goal.
Yeah, I knew you'd love.
Probably be lying, but I just love throwing guys off their game.
Yeah, I know you did. You're good at it too. And that's how you win a lot. You don't have to score a goal. It takes everybody to win. It takes every guy on the team to do what they do really well, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, it's so one of my fellas that he just tried out for AAA and he got cut, which to me seems very strange. No way he gets cut in my eyes, but he was really upset yesterday, and I was like, dude, it's like losing in game 7s or you losing in a final. It's like, you got to take this and show them why they're wrong, show them that they were wrong, and use this to fuel you to be better. You know?
Yeah, that's the best motivation. That is defeat, or at least for me, it have always been like that.
Me too. You got to figure out how to win, right?
How old is a kid like that getting caught?
He's be 10.
Wow. So you're really picking teams at 10 years old.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, there's AAA tryouts right now happening all over Ontario right now. We chose not to go. I'm pretty sure my son would make it, but he wants to stay home with his friends here, and I want him to too. I think winning with your friends from home is very important before you start making the long trips. And like, these will be the guys you end up back here with someday, right?
Yeah. That's 100%.
And they're 10, right? They're 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't go, but it's, man, the highs and lows of minor hockey. Like, when these kids are getting cut, they're devastated, and the parents have to, and then the ones that make it are so happy. It's like winning and losing, right? It's the exact opposite.
Yeah, but in such a young age, that's news to me. It's completely different how we do it in Denmark, but I guess that's why we are.
What do you mean?
Like,
you guys don't have like a top team in under 11?
No, you just go to the local ice hockey club, and then you fill out a form, and then you're a member of the team, and then you can go play games. Of course, you probably won't be in the first line, but you will definitely practice and be on the team.
So there's one team for the whole town. There's not more than one.
No, and that's the thing. In the entire country of Denmark, I think we have 27 rinks. That's it.
So how do you guys have so many good players at Herning? How many players are on? So say you're born in 1983. How many players are on my team from town? And anybody can sign up.
Yeah. Everyone can sign up, yeah.
So how many people would be on my team for 19, like one age group when you're 10 years old?
10 years old, probably 30 guys, 30 kids.
Right. So that's too many for one team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But then here comes the good part. Then they rotate.
Then you have to miss games. So that's weird to me because what we would do is tier it from the top team and the second team, right? You'd have two teams so that everybody plays more, and then the top kids are with the top kids, but then kids get cut, and then they have to learn how to be better, I guess. But
And that's how it worked when I was a kid playing. We had two teams as well, but not anymore. And that's probably also why that Denmark will have. They will. I mean, we have Nico Ehlers, Bergeron, and then the goalie in Ottawa. But besides those guys, you won't see a Dane in the NHL for a very long time.
is that right?
Yeah, probably.
I thought you guys were still on the rise, but it seems strange that Herning was pumping them out like they were, so I could see how it would might,
Yeah. But no, like the national team will face some difficult times over the next.
Well, and I find it very weird that say you and Larsen and a couple other fellas are going to play against someone that just signed up or play on the same team as someone that just signed up. I bet you that person's not going to touch the puck much.
Oh, no.
And they're probably not going to want to come back.
Probably not, but that's actually in Denmark, they're pretty good at that touchy feeling stuff. So everybody feels welcome and included in the group, which is important as well when ice hockey is a niche sport in Denmark.
You guys are very nice people,
Yeah.
Like, Danes are really happy and nice, right?
Yeah. Well, at least every year, Denmark is in the top 2 of the happiest countries in the world, and I don't get that because everyone is complaining all the time.
People complain all the time about everything.
Yeah.
That's what everybody does. It's like, well, it's sunny today. Can we say happy things now? Or now it's too hot? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next poster pick. You're playing for Herning. You had pretty good flow out the back. You must have been young. I don't remember you having some flow out the back.
Oh no, that's a long time ago. Yeah, I had some flow. When I was even younger than on that big, I dyed my hair as well. So I've tried it all.
What are we working with now?
Oh, a bald headed.
Yeah, you were getting that point back when I played with you, weren't you?
Yeah. All the golden helmets.
Okay, next poster pick is well, I didn't realize how many guys that were in that finals that you like. So when I come there and play, I don't get all the history of the league and the teams and who played against who and who played with who. You sent me the picture of Herning winning when you're on the team, and the other Wallies on that team, Spelling's on that team, that Ganzak that played for Herning, and the goalie Pizar and Sorensen. And like, there's a ton of dudes in that picture that you won with that then you're on the other side and you brought Spelling and Wally with you.
Yeah.
Weird.
I actually literally brought Wally with me because I was talking with Soren that summer and he was texting me, I remember, and he was like, they have a starting center, but they're looking to have a second line center. And he couldn't really find anyone in the market that, or at least where with his connections. And then I threw Wally's name in the pool, and I guess that turned out pretty well.
Yeah, he won a few times, and like that guy could block shots, for a forward. Holy moly, could he eat him?
Talking about it being a gamer.
Yeah, he's a gamer. Yeah, and like for me, it was like you could clearly see when it became playoff time, his intensity went up.
Yeah. He had it. He had that playoff edge.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. Gamer.
Yeah.
That's who you win with, right?
Oh yeah. And actually also the funniest people to be around, I guess.
Well, and like when you see other people doing it, it brings teams together. You see him blocking shots like that, and you're like, well, geez, I'd better do that.
Fires up the bench as well. And then,
next poster pick.
Yeah.
You are then now with Herning playing against the Baby Blues, and you are putting a shoulder to a guy's head in front of the net. You're hitting him hard, eh?
That was actually the year before. At that point, I've already signed with Sonny Yuski. That one
Oh,
was for
really?
the semifinals that year. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you had already signed with the other team, and
Yeah,
you're just burying the guy.
yeah, yeah.
Did you play with that guy the next year?
No, he retired not due to the
No
hit,
kidding.
but
Yeah,
but he
right.
but he didn't
Yeah.
play. He didn't play the
He
next
never
year.
played again, probably.
It wasn't because of the head. No,
I'm glad I
no,
didn't play against you.
I didn't. I didn't play with that guy. But yeah.
So before you won 5 straight gold helmets, the 2 playoffs before, you played 16 playoff games and 11 playoff games. So then did you almost win it the 2 years before?
Yeah. The how did it go? I think we ended up the year before winning. We ended up winning the or getting the bronze medal, and the year prior to that,
Bronze medal? What so we didn't play for bronze. What do they do for that? If you lose the semis, you have to play for bronze?
you have to play 2 games, and then if both teams wins, then it comes down to the score.
Overall, like home and
Yeah.
home?
Yeah.
Thank goodness we didn't have to play in that.
I don't get why they're still doing that in Denmark. I don't get why,
Really?
because it's so obvious. All the games are like 6-8, 7-8. Nobody wants to play those games.
Nobody cares.
Exactly. And then the first senior year we lost in game 6 to actually Sonny Jyski.
Game 6 of the finals.
Yeah.
Sugar and spice, eh?
Yeah.
So then you turned around, just like Herning's gonna do next year, right? There'll be Twix all over the ice, gonna be running mucks and winning gold helmets, right?
Nothing less.
What about when you played under 20? That was the same year as you're basically almost winning in the league, and you're also almost winning in the World Juniors, eh? You got silver both times.
Yeah, yeah. And we actually to make it even sweeter, we also got silver in the Pokal that year.
Oh my gosh, it sucks, eh?
That is
Silver.
that is by definition the worst season I have ever had.
Finishing second and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one, so you're pretty much winning every year. Why did you leave Sunderjyski at the end? You went from there to Aalborg.
Yeah, I did. Dan didn't actually wanted me to come back.
That
I know.
punk, eh?
Yeah, that punk.
He did the same to me, but he's still a shed guy, isn't he?
Yeah. The only difference between you and I isn't that I'm not a top scorer.
Yeah, but you're still a gamer that wins gold helmets 5 times in a row.
But yeah, no, personality wise, I don't think Dan and I kind of, when you check our tempers, we don't kind of see eye to eye in that regard. I want to do different things, different than the way he thinks it should be done. But at the end, it was, even back then, I shouldn't have signed in all where I was all mentally done.
Oh yeah, you think you should have just been done?
Yeah, I hope that I could find that spark again going to Overmark, but
well, you played such a hard game, man, and then when you win 5 times in a row, like, it is like the guys that played the hardest, they get worn down, and like how the biggest competitors, like you just can't do it forever, right?
No, that's true. But I also think personally for me, I needed that to take it to the next level if I should have kept being motivated, meaning going to another league or something like that.
Right. A new challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even
there are times where I kind of lost my spark and I lost my competitiveness. And that's like probably when I was asked to leave Germany, and I wasn't as good of a hockey player as I had been because I was too comfortable.
Yeah. And that's probably the right way to put it. I would also say my 4th year in Sonny I was too comfortable the entire season.
Right. Yeah. You just lose the edge a bit when you've won 5 years in a row, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being one part of it. And then kind of being too old to and the national team developing to being too good of a team for me to get a crack at that point also.
You know what was cool for me? Just like, not that like I really have anything to do with it, but what I thought was neat because of all the success our team had that year was that you had played 3 games before a different year, but then not in between, but then you made Team Denmark and got to play 10 games for them the year I played with you. But also, my line mate Frankie got his first call to Team Denmark. And another guy that was my line mate throughout the season, but not at the start of the year, but Spelling got his first call to the men's team. So three of you from our team and Sunderjyski all got their first, like, not your first call, but like you're really there doing it. I saw Frankie had 3 goals in 6 games that year.
For the national team, I don't even recall that.
Yeah, it's there. Spelling got 2 goals. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually even think Spelling played the World Championships that year.
Well, he's a player.
He actually did, and he scored against Russia in PP.
And like it's so cool for me, man. And I still remember when Casper left our team in Germany, and then I fly home to Canada a few days later after we run amok, and I'm watching Denmark play, and I'm like, well, there's Casper, there's my buddy playing on TSN. Yeah. And then like you see Spelling playing for Denmark, and it's like, well, that's my line mate.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Could probably convince people back home that you're playing in a top dollar league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
It's going down in Denmark. Just look at the guys I played with.
But yeah, there's no one to tell. When you tell them, they're like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Whatever. Cool. But Spelling, one thing I'd say about him, because he did just win his 6th gold helmet, right?
Yeah.
Bit of a legend, that guy, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Man rocket too, folks. Right?
Just overall skill, I would say.
Just a quiet, polite kid. When I played with him, he was just nice, and he just went out there and just played hockey better than everybody else.
And it looked so. That's when you know that the kid is good and skilled, when it looks that easy.
Yeah, he was the first kid I played with that, like, when he took a snapper, like he used like the new school technology, the stick or whatever, because he shot it so hard and shot it right where he wanted to. And it was like, I've never seen anyone shoot a puck like this.
That was insane. Actually, he's one of those guys who probably mentally isn't strong enough, because if he really desired it, he could probably have cracked a couple of games in the show.
Well, he never did go, right? Like he didn't leave Denmark when he was drafted.
He went to one camp, and then they wanted him back, and he was like, no.
Really? But and you know, it's interesting. Everybody's got different personalities, and like he was like a polite, shy kid, and like maybe leaving Denmark to go to New York, USA is a little bit much at 19, 20 years old. And like everybody's different, right? Like,
yeah, I know, but I'm even talking like maybe even going to the Swedish Elite League or the DL.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely should have spread his wings at some point instead of just having his way with the other Danes.
Yeah, season in, season out, and it's kind of, yeah, I think
it's got to suck for the teams that don't have him, right? Like he's been with Aalborg for a while, and they're doing fine, aren't they?
They have been a top team every year. Thomas has been there.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know what's interesting for me though is all the leagues I played in. What a suitcase! But like, is the domestic players you have, the players from that country, you need them to be the best in the league to win it. Like when we won the second league in Germany, our Germans were the best Germans in the league. When we won in Sunderjyski, our Danish guys were the best Danish guys in the league, and that's how you win championships. Having Thomas Spelling on your team in Denmark's a pretty big deal when he's a Dane.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I would even say having Thomas, and yeah.
But like you look at the Danes we had. Look at the Danes we had in Vojens though. Like we had Frankie, Lund, you, Spelling, Kim Lukasov, right? The legend. Like, and then you see
Eske.
What, an Eske, right?
Yeah.
And then like Anders Forster, he was a player too. And he was like on our 3rd, 4th line, and like he could play.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
We had a really solid team that year.
That's how you win championships, folks.
That is probably also, with me getting playing time, the best team I played on, to be fair.
Quirky was pretty good.
Night in and night out.
Yeah, he gives her, right? Yeah. That was it was pretty neat for me when I didn't know where I was going out of Germany, and I get a call from Dan Seaman, and he's like, "Well, we're looking at Corey Quirk," and I'm like, "You want me to play with Corey Quirk?" And I'm like, "I saw him in the second league in Germany. I know what he's about. I'll play there. Yeah, I'll play with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus.
I'll
Remember
sign up for
Turkey,
that."
how he was in the beginning? Like, not as a player, but how quiet and shy he was in the beginning.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did
And
he get
then,
out of his shell a bit after I left?
oh yeah, yeah. Not,
Yeah.
I would say he even did that when you were there as well.
Oh yeah. Well,
I guess
we got pretty tight there by the end, but like some guys are shy when they get to new teams, and everybody's got to find where they fit in on a new team, right?
yeah, exactly. And Quirky is definitely one of those guys, and one of the guys that I talked to the most, even
You
when
still do?
when he was there. It's a long time since I've actually talked to him.
That's
But
what's
yeah,
neat for me is I actually get to talk to people now. Right?
yeah, that is awesome. I've always said to myself when I'm playing the lottery once in a while, if I win the jackpot, I would get that group of guys together and have a week of partying.
You know what would be cool, since like you've won and I've won a few things, is that like when these things had happened, like maybe there's 20-year anniversaries where they like fly us all back over, and like, right, and we like say we like all wore gold helmets out on the town again just for fun. Right,
That could be awesome. But I
right.
can tell you, if I win the lottery tomorrow, you will get an invite for a gold helmet party on, do you say on or in Ibiza?
Oh, that would be cool. Never been there.
Neither have I. I've just heard it's the place to go if you want to party.
No, like, and when you win with people, you're brothers for life, right? It changes your relationship. It's different.
And that's one thing I remember for actually my first year in Vojens when we won, where Kim he had this speech where he said, no matter where you go, no matter how you end up, you will always have 20 brothers to share memories with. And that's actually true.
Like what we're doing right now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if say Mac or you, since you guys are all living in Harry, do you watch the game still? Do you ever go?
Yeah, the company I work for is one of the big sponsors out there. So more or less, I go every game
Oh,
uh,
nice.
if I can. If I'm not out traveling or anything, then I would like to go. Yeah,
Well, tell Mac, say hi, right?
I will.
In person.
I will
Have you met him? Do you know him?
No, I never met him. I know my younger brothers met him when the team is going out. I
Okay.
have two younger brothers and me. They're buddies with some of the young guys on the team.
You just stay home. You're all grown up, eh?
Exactly.
So if you're going out of the town at Herning, where do you eat late night? Are there any good places?
Late night, yeah, there are some decent places. We have a pretty decent Italian restaurant as well. But Herning is pretty decent in steakhouses as well, I would say.
Steakhouses, eh? So what's
Yeah.
your favorite Danish dish? What would you consider a Danish dish of food?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm actually not that big of a fan of Danish food.
Mm,
It's
I,
a lot of pork and potatoes. But
yeah,
if I could pick one, it would be kind of like we have a dish where it's kind of like actually bacon with potatoes and parsley sauce. But the bacon pieces
that's
are like
bigger.
this thick.
Yeah, the bigger pieces of bacon.
Yeah,
I know what you're
it's
talking
pre-
about.
it's pretty decent, but it's a dish you can eat like 3 or 4 times a year
hmm
because it's yeah
How old were you when you were done?
27.
That's pretty young, eh?
It is
You'd
very
already had 5 gold helmets and you're 27.
yeah. That is actually I had 5 gold helmets
And you
when
felt like you had lost the
25.
spark at
Yeah,
27.
yeah. I mean, the way I went about my business, it was kind of like
Uh,
24/7.
It was
Uh,
exhausting, eh? Yeah.
yeah, to be quite honest with you, I didn't even take time off in between those golden helmet seasons. I just had those 5 days of partying and then straight to the gym.
Yeah. And you were just giving her.
Yeah, and then eventually you run out of motivation and energy.
So I saw your winning started way back in 2007-8 when you won the second league.
Mhm.
Do you think like when people learn how to win, when they see what it's about and they get to do it, do you not think it like changes you?
It definitely, yeah, it definitely changes your mentality, how you go about your business. And I would even say that's something that I kind of struggle with today. Uh, Living, I guess you can say, regular life.
Yes.
Uh, that the mentality for for a winner can somehow, in a normal environment, working environment, scare some people from time to time.
Mm.
But at least for me, or for Hanning back then, it was already from when we were like kids, 10 years old.
That's when you can learn how to win. Like I learned how to win when I was 10 years old in Elmira, Ontario, or I think I was 9. When you first win those big trophies, when you go out there against another team and your two teams are both great and you learn how to beat them and you
Yeah,
get to do that with your friends and you all realize how much more fun that was than losing, right?
but also remembering, like,
The losing.
in the 90s, we had the Herning Ice Hockey Club back then more or less only had former players as coaches, and it was before parenting got as it is
Into
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
The coaches from a young age was as pretty strict on us, and we were told from being 9, 10 years old, if you get hurt, shot him on the arm, face, whatever. If the coach have to help you off the ice,
Then you don't play the rest of the game.
you not play anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we had a game this season where I was watching, and my son's team played a team in the semifinals of tournament. And the other team had 3 kids, 3 in one game, had to lay on the ice until the guy went out to like get them, and then they went off. And I was like, well, there's no way we lose this game. You don't win doing that.
No,
Not at this age, at any age. You get up. You don't lay there and wait for him to come rub your back and then get you off.
exactly. It's actually it's a pretty good lesson that you can't win without sacrifices.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to keep giving her, even when things go wrong. You got to get up, get after it. Right.
Exactly. Even you can, like,
I do think, though, what we learn in hockey does translate to the real world. I mean, not all of it does, but like for myself, I always tried to like bring teams together and like make sure everybody was having fun and like enjoying their day. And like now in the real world, the folks that are working for me, I try to make them enjoy their day, make them have what they need to get the job done, and bring them together that like one person wants to take a day off, that the other teammates are wanting to step up for them because they're friends and they like each other and they have a good culture, you know?
yeah. Well, I hear you. I 100% agree. As I say on a daily basis at work, I went to university, but the best education I had was playing 9 years professional ice hockey.
100%.
When you're talking, as you do here, people management, but also being disciplined and working hard, etc.
Showing up on time, right? You can't be late in pro hockey.
The boss leaves without you.
Yeah, yeah. What? It's like you're late for practice, you're getting fined or you're not getting to play. And it's like, geez, you're only 5 minutes late, right? It's like, well, in the real world, some people show up 5 minutes late and you're like, well, that's not how it works, right? Pro
Yeah,
hockey.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I loved our time together at Vojens. I guess that's obviously, I'm very competitive, and when they didn't ask me back, it's like, well, am I the problem? And I had some issues with that after I left. I'm like, am I a problem? Like when they're not asking me back after the season I had, I'm like, am I like the guy in the room that's the problem? And then like when I went to Cardiff, I took that as like, well, this next team, I'm going to be as Wally as I can be. And I'm not going to try and act serious when everybody else is serious. And I'm going to be myself. And I'm like, I'm going to have fun and I'm going to make hockey fun again. And it changed me not being asked back there, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. You didn't even get an explanation somehow or anything. Just you're not going back.
So I never got an explanation until episode 15 when I started this, and I'm like, Dan Seaman, you better get in my shed and tell me what's up.
Yeah,
He told me that they thought Patrick Aslan was a little bit better defensively than me. And you know how Sunderjewski does it. They'll only sign like 5 imports, then come Christmas, all of a sudden they get their 3 other guys from Finland or wherever, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So they didn't let him sign all the players he wanted. So he couldn't have me and Patrick Aslan. So he took him instead.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
I had a great time in Cardiff. And I'm over it now. Now I can watch videos and stuff, right?
That's
And
good.
like the picture of us out there with Colby and the team picture with gold helmets like that is priceless. That is a life memory. And it's from playing with dandies that knew what it was about,
Yeah. That's
right?
I know. Yeah. Sure. Sure. I know. Colby, how old is that? Is he now? Because I only remember him as being
like tiny. He's 10 now. Yeah. So him and his buddies are like he's as into hockey as they get. But it's funny because when I look back at every picture of us in Denmark, he has the stick the other Wally gave him for his birthday. He has that stick in his hand every picture.
That's actually kind of funny because that's how I remember him. Wearing a jacket and a hat and then walking with
that blue stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that I have pictures of us on the ice after winning a championship together. And that wouldn't have happened if we wouldn't have done that game 7, right?
No, exactly. It would definitely be great memories when you're getting old and sentimental.
Right? I am getting old and sentimental. I better toughen up, eh? What a joke. Yeah. Well, what can you do? Well, it's nice seeing you again, sir.
Nice to seeing you as well, bud.
And this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Durs and Wally.